Welcome to today's video on the impact of social isolation on mental health. In today's fast-paced and digitally connected world, social isolation has become a growing concern that affects individuals of all ages. The consequences of social isolation on mental health are significant and can have long-lasting effects. In this video, we will delve into the relationship between social isolation and mental health, exploring the various ways in which social isolation can contribute to the development of mental health issues such as depression and anxiety. We will also discuss coping strategies and interventions that can help mitigate the negative effects of social isolation on mental well-being. Join us as we unravel the complexities of social isolation and its profound impact on mental health. Understanding the link between social isolation and mental health. Social isolation can have a significant impact on mental health. Research has shown a strong correlation between social isolation and increased risk of mental health issues. Individuals who experience social isolation are more likely to develop depression and anxiety. Lack of social support is a key factor in the negative effects of social isolation on mental health. When individuals lack the emotional and practical assistance that social connections provide, their mental well-being can be greatly compromised. Understanding the reasons behind social isolation is crucial for addressing its impact on mental health. Whether it is due to factors such as geographic location, limited social networks, or even the current pandemic, recognizing the underlying causes can help create effective solutions to mitigate the negative effects. Exploring the connection between social isolation and depression. Social isolation is strongly linked to depression. When individuals lack social connections and feel lonely and isolated, it can exacerbate their depressive symptoms. This often creates a vicious cycle, as depression itself can contribute to further social isolation. In contrast, social support and connection are vital in preventing and managing depression. Having a strong support network can provide emotional and practical assistance, reducing the negative impact of social isolation on mental health. Interventions that target social isolation can also help reduce the prevalence of depression. By fostering social connections and providing opportunities for social interaction, individuals can combat the detrimental effects of social isolation on their mental well-being. The effects of social isolation on loneliness and psychological well-being. Social isolation can lead to profound feelings of loneliness. When individuals lack regular social interactions and connections, they are more likely to experience a deep sense of loneliness. This loneliness can have significant impacts on their psychological well-being. Research has shown that loneliness is a significant predictor of poor psychological well-being. Individuals who feel lonely often experience higher levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. The negative impact of loneliness on overall life satisfaction and happiness cannot be understated. Psychological well-being is closely tied to social connectedness. When individuals have strong social support networks and meaningful relationships, they tend to have better mental health outcomes. However, social isolation disrupts these connections and can lead to a decline in psychological well-being. Addressing social isolation is imperative for promoting better psychological well-being. By finding ways to combat and alleviate feelings of loneliness, individuals can improve their mental health and overall life satisfaction. Creating opportunities for social interaction and engagement is crucial in mitigating the effects of social isolation on psychological well-being. Coping strategies for dealing with social isolation and its effects on mental health. Dealing with social isolation can be challenging, but there are coping strategies that can help alleviate its negative effects on mental health. Engaging in regular social activities. Participating in activities that allow for social interaction, such as joining clubs or volunteering, can help combat social isolation. Seeking out social support networks. Reach out to friends, family, or support groups who can provide emotional and practical assistance during times of isolation. Developing coping strategies. Practice mindfulness and relaxation techniques to manage stress and anxiety associated with social isolation. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Focus on self-care by exercising regularly, eating nutritious meals, and getting enough sleep, as these factors can enhance mental well-being. Professional therapeutic interventions. consider seeking counseling or therapy to receive professional support and guidance in navigating the challenges of social isolation. By implementing these coping strategies, individuals can mitigate the negative effects of social isolation on their mental health and improve their overall well-being. The long-term consequences of prolonged social isolation. Prolonged social isolation can have serious consequences for mental health. It increases the risk of developing mental health disorders and can worsen existing conditions. Without social support, individuals struggle to cope and experience a decline in quality of life. Addressing social isolation early on is crucial. Enhancing community programs and creating opportunities for social engagement can protect against long-term negative outcomes. Collaboration between healthcare providers, organizations, and policymakers is needed. Increasing awareness and education can lead to effective interventions. Let's prioritize social connection and build a society that values positive mental health. The importance of community and social connections in preventing social isolation. Building strong community connections can help prevent social isolation. When individuals are connected to their communities, they have a sense of belonging and support. This sense of belonging can decrease feelings of loneliness and isolation. Promoting social integration and inclusivity is essential in combating social isolation. When communities are inclusive and welcoming, individuals are more likely to feel accepted and connected. This can lead to stronger social bonds and reduced risk of social isolation. Creating opportunities for social interaction and engagement can reduce the risk of social isolation. Community programs, events, and activities that encourage people to come together and form connections are crucial in preventing social isolation. Community initiatives play a vital role in fostering social connection. Programs that promote social activities, support groups, and community involvement can provide resources and support for individuals who may be at risk of social isolation. Supporting organizations that address social isolation can make a significant difference in preventing its negative effects. By donating time, resources, or funds to organizations that tackle social isolation, individuals can contribute to creating a more connected and supportive community. Addressing social isolation as a public health issue. Social isolation should be recognized and addressed as a public health concern. The negative impact it has on mental health necessitates action from healthcare providers, community organizations, and policymakers. By implementing strategies to combat social isolation, we can improve the overall population's mental health. Efforts should focus on promoting social connectedness and reducing social isolation. Building strong community connections and promoting social integration and inclusivity are essential in combating social isolation. Creating opportunities for social interaction and engagement can reduce the risk of social isolation. Community programs and initiatives play a vital role in fostering social connection. It is crucial to support organizations that address social isolation as they can make a significant difference in preventing its negative effects. Addressing social isolation requires collaboration between different stakeholders. Healthcare providers, community organizations, and policymakers need to work together to develop effective interventions and support systems. Increasing awareness and education about social isolation is also essential. By educating individuals about the impact of social isolation on mental health and providing them with resources and tools to address it, we can encourage early intervention and support. Conclusion. Social isolation has a profound impact on mental health. Research shows a strong correlation between social isolation and a higher risk of mental health issues like depression and anxiety. Lack of social support worsens these negative effects. To address this, it's crucial to understand the reasons behind social isolation. Interventions targeting social isolation and promoting social support can reduce depression. Social isolation also leads to loneliness, which harms overall psychological well-being. Coping strategies, social activities, and support networks help alleviate these effects. Long-term social isolation increases the risk of mental health disorders and cognitive decline. Early intervention is key to preventing these outcomes. Building community connections and promoting social integration are vital in preventing social isolation. Supporting social interaction and community initiatives reduces the risk of isolation. Recognizing and addressing social isolation as a public health concern is crucial. By fostering social connectedness, we can improve overall well-being.